Hello everyone and welcome to my SuperSorc Blizzard Meteor Charged Bolts build. Playing 3 DPS skills in this build shape is really no issue. Be sure you have charged bolts on left click. In this way, it will always trigger only when you target a close range mob. Meteor is a cooldown skill with the unique helm, so it will feel like playing the classic builds with 1 DPS skill. Issue unique boots for high movement speed and critical chance. The build has multiple sources of DPS: Blizzard Ice Spikes, Charge Bolts, Chain Lightning from Enchantment, X-Fall Ring Explosions that trigger on any skill as we play Firebolt Enchantment, who enables Ring Explosions chance on any direct damage skill. Thibaut for extra mana sustain. Beside the huge crackling energy mana generation constantly, Pet Stone, Lucky Hit Mana Restore, and Static Surge Legendary Node. Mana will be just perfect for both single target and group fights. You have Unstoppable Constant on Teleport and fill the gap with Flame Shield Unstoppable. Fist of Fates is perfect for such mixed DPS build plus Immobilize and Mana Restore. Classic Defense Legendary Chest when farming tier 100. But go for Raiment on anything else, especially for boss fights farming. Equip Raiment as defenses are enough. All bosses you see me fight in video, I used Raiment. I do not use Disobedience. All gameplay you see, I had same armor around 9,000. I have Bad Roll Amulet. The build will have 9,000 armor without Disobedience. If you want cap the penalty for tier 100, go on and swap for Disobedience aspect on chest. As we seen shortly, the new event Gauntlet might be tier 70. If that will be so, then go for Raiment that event if you use my build. Tier 70 is a joke compared with tier 100. I always have Raiment in inventory, as you can see. I just swap it sometimes, even in some tier 100 before boss fights. It's just a click, and always swap for world events or uber bosses. They barely hurt you with so much damage reduction the build has. Sure, if you play hardcore, do not do this swaps. Total armor on Amulet, 2 damage reductions and Devouring Blaze. With a defensive amulet, you tank tier 100 and allow easy swap chest for Raiment too. I also play 2 defensive Paragon Glyphs, but they can be easy replaced for DPS Glyphs if needed in Uber boss farming for better speed. Glacial Aspect on Amulet. Always look to get or upgrade for max roll of Glacial Aspect. It does not need more movement speed affix, spam dodge to get Isu Boots buff. Mana cost reduction again is not needed, as you can see in gameplay with all synergies in place. Mana sustain is great. Cooldown reduction is juicy but not needed, is fine already. Sure, if want to remove a DR for cooldown reduction is your choice. X-Fall Ring proc Explosion from all skills as we play Firebolt Enchantment. Did not check much for its numbers, but seen often even 3 million plus. In Lilith fight 3.8 million in Stagger, as then could pay more attention on numbers. Tal Rasha has 3 stacks of buff. Important affixes higher roll are Lucky Hit and Cooldown. Of course, main goal is to get higher roll of unique power, 15% multiplier roll. Ignore my affix chance to slow. You want Lucky Hit chance instead. In the planner I made that can be found in description of video, you have all recommended affixes. We play ESU Ferocity Key passive, so the aspect is 50% attack speed permanent. I will now show all my total stats. Keep in mind, resistances are all capped Paragon and Intelligence stat plus max item level accessories. I have very low amulet power, so there is the missing percentage on some resistances, but they all will be 70% with max item level. Critical strike chance, it is a lot higher in fight because of ESU Boots and Pet critical chance synergy, plus other synergies Skill Tree and Paragon. Armor around 9,000 with better roll than mine. 13,000 health and a lot of damage reductions. There are plenty of other buffs for all damage reduction in fight. As standard, I stacked close damage reduction, but also quite a lot from chilled, burning, distant elites or when have barrier. The 2 defensive glyphs in Paragon are easy swaps for DPS glyphs if you want adjust that direction. I will point out when reach the Paragon info what glyph exactly to swap. Most important stat here, Lucky hit chance. I do miss the affix on offhand that I recommend. Overall, the chance will be crazy high. Like said in my previous video, I do not grind for Ubers this season stones or items to not repeat my boredom message. Short story, the way to grind them is boring for me. But sure, the Uber Pet Stone will fit great for extra multiplier and plus 4 ranks on so many skills we DPS with. I use standard utility, crit chance, and multiplier DPS. Feel free use whatever pet you have in mind. You won't break the build. Mana is fine even without Pet Stone once you get used to build. Now, on the skill tree, the first 2 points are for enchantment. Then Charge Bolt's maxed and his passive for extra damage reduction. Chain Lightning as second enchantment, and his passive for crackling generation that will make possible great mana, sustain extra, but also DPS. As we have very high attack speed, you probably drop 1 chain every second. Both defensive skills, Flame Shield and Teleport, provide unstoppable for Tobol Pants buff and resource gem. This time I do not play Lightning Spear. We do Freeze, Immobilize, Daze Constant, is enough. As for Vulnerable Apply, we have enough just from Static Surge legendary node on Charged Bolts and the ultimate Lightning Spears. If really want some stuns, can flex the Icy Touch passive points into Lucky Hit stuns on lightning skills in the passive tree. Or sure, just swap for Raiment in any content you feel comfortable with. We take standard defensive passives, Mana Shield and Protection. We have almost permanent barrier with Protection passive and low cooldowns. As for Mana Shield is permanent DR as we use a lot of mana. Blizzard most damage come from his Ice Spike's Aspect Glacial is fine level 1. Meteor I choose level 1 as we tight on points, and Helm provide plus 4. Devouring Blaze as we have permanent burning synergy and high crit chance synergies. Invigorating Conduit to enable mana sustained from Chain Lightning enchantment and passive. Like said earlier, Icy Touch points can flex for lucky hit chance to stun passive convulsions if you like. Ultimate Unstable Currents for even higher attack speed beside the attack speed buff from Key Passive and Aspect ESU Ferocity. Plus the lightning skills can trigger X-Fall explosions too when we play Firebolt enchantment. ESU Ferocity buff is like permanent. We blast through maps and on the bosses up all time. Chain Lightning enchantment for extra DPS and great mana sustain synergy. Firebolt enchantment to enable permanent burning. Meteor is not reliable alone, but not only for that. More important, Firebolt enchantment enable procs of X-Fall explosions for any skill with lucky hit chance. Next, the Paragon board. Like said in gear info, resistances are capped Paragon maxed Glyphs and intelligence stat plus high item power accessories. If you are in the leveling process, you need adjust a bit. If you are doing Uber bosses, farm swap control glyph for destruction as you kill them before stagger. Second board Enchantment Master. Third board Icefall. Fourth board Burning Instinct. If you farm Uber bosses or want more DPS, swap this glyph for Tactician. You will get also extra DR from burning, but it requires you to remove 1 point from willpower and put into dexterity to enable glyph bonus. For 5th board, go back to Enchantment Master Board. 5th board, Frigid Fate. Optional glyph here, Enchanter, as the non-physical from it will be a multiplier for Frigid Fate. Plus, you will bring all non-physical damage close to 300%. Sixth board, Static Surge. When you farm Uber bosses, or if want more DPS, swap Defensive Glyph for Flame Feeder Glyph. Thank you all for watching and for support. If you have any questions, can leave a comment below. I will try answer to all when time allow me to.